Greetings, I'm Dave Duffy. I'm chair of the Public Safety Committee of the Palm Beach Civic Association. Today, we are delighted to bring to you the first of 3 forums we have titled Your Town, Your Safety, and Your Well-Being. And what you'll see in this program and over the next 3 is exactly that, critical information to help you in these trying times. Today we have some wonderful guests. First, Mayor Gail Coniglio, then Maggie Zeidman, our Town Council President, followed by our Police Chief, Nick Caristo, and Fire Rescue Chief, Daryl Donato. I'm sure you'll enjoy this and get an awful lot out of it. Now to our host, Tim Malloy.
Thanks a lot, Dave. I'm Tim Malloy with the Civic Association, and this is Palm Beach TV. Special program now with 3 people you know well, the people who protect us in this town. We've got Maggie Zeidman, the Council President, Daryl Donato, the Fire Rescue Chief, and Nick Caristo, our Police Chief. These are the folks that we're going to talk to for the next half hour or so as we move into the season. Your safety concerns, their thoughts on keeping you safe and healthy. Let me start first, though, with Mayor Gail Coniglio with a welcome back to all of you coming back to town.
Good afternoon. Dear friends and neighbors, welcome home. While it continues to be a challenging year, the town of Palm Beach remains dedicated to maintain a safe, healthy, and happy environment. As we begin this season, remember the 3 C's. Avoid close contact, avoid crowded places, and avoid closed spaces with poor ventilation. Always wear a mask. We must work together to protect each other to maintain the well-being of our island paradise. I'll now turn it over to the COVID team and the Palm Beach Police Department for the latest information on where we are and where we're going. May your Thanksgiving celebrations be filled with bountiful blessings.
Thank you, Mayor. We want our town to be one of the safest and most beautiful in the country, and it's probably really toward the top of the list in that regard right now. But just the same, these are hard times for all of us. It's hard times for the town of Palm Beach. Council head Maggie Zeidman, as you well know, has a long and distinguished career in nursing in New York before she was down here, and has been very helpful to the Civic Association and the town throughout this crisis we've been in. So we're going to start with Maggie and her thoughts on her deepest concerns and best hopes for our town in the weeks and months coming forward.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you to the Palm Beach Civic Association for having us. It's a great time to be here because everyone's coming back. You've heard from the mayor, you've heard from Dave Duffy, and all I want to say is my best hope for this town is that we don't have one single more coronavirus infection in this town. And my deepest concern for you and for all of us is that that's not going to be the case. We are coming into a period of time where we're in a surge. We're in the beginning of the surge now, and we've got to be especially careful. So that you've heard my best hope and my deepest concern.
Chief Nick Caristo oversees a department of 69 sworn officers. This is a terrific town and a very safe town. If you live here, you know that. But there are concerns. We all think about crime. So here's the chief with his quick overview.
Well, thank you, Tim. Well, my hopes and concerns within the town, I know the police department is going to continue to have the best interests of the town in mind while keeping our island safe. We're going to continue to be proactive. My concerns are that for the police officers in this town and across the nation, with the unrest that's been going on, I hope that settles down, and that's my only concern.
So between our fire rescue squad and our lifeguards all in one department, we have 80 personnel who take care of us on the island. Chief Daryl Donato now on his concerns and his hopes for the coming year.
Thanks, Tim. We really appreciate this opportunity to get a message out to this community. You know, we're very concerned at Fire Rescue about the health and safety of our citizens, and you know, COVID is certainly a significant problem. The average age in this community is higher than that of many other communities, and the case fatality rate, or the percent of people who suffer greatly, who die from COVID, is much higher for those folks who are over the age of 65, and that has us very concerned. So we're working hard to get the message out, make sure everybody in town is is aware of that so that they can make their own personal choices about how to manage their risk. You know, we're hopeful for a very, very exciting and healthy season for everybody as they come back. We're very hopeful that a vaccine will be released sometime in the near future, and that vaccine is going to be able to end this pandemic. We're excited for that opportunity that fire rescue may play in helping vaccinate the town. And you know, we're really looking forward to doing everything we can to keep everyone in this town safe and healthy in this season.
There's a phenomenon that takes place sometimes in the midst of a crisis or even a catastrophe, and it's not a good thing. And Maggie Zeidman, tell us about what you call the green light effect.
Well, the green light effect is when leaders, government leaders, make a decision. For example, Governor DeSantis, to get the economy back on track, we went into phase 3 here in the state of Florida on September 25th. Well, the order was given on September 25th, and everything opened the following week. What that says to people is it must be okay. It must be okay to go to the gym. It must be okay to go to the bowling alley. It must be okay to go to the movie theater. It must be okay to eat inside a restaurant that's at 100% capacity. All of those things must be okay. That's the green light effect. So that's one thing that happens. And we are in the middle, as I said, not in the middle yet, but we're in the beginning of this surge. So 3 times in the past week, depending on how we're looking at it, we've had an 8% positivity rate. And that indicates that there's much more transmission of that virus in our local community. So that's in Palm Beach County. If you go back into September, we were in the 3s, and even into early October in the 3s. So we need to sharpen up and pay attention. And everyone needs to look at what their own risk is before they observe the green light and go forward with things that might make them very ill. So that's the green light effect.
I covered the amazing response time of our SWAT team, Palm Beach Police SWAT team, the other day at a bank robbery in town. It was incredible how quickly that was shut down. I was going to ask the chief about that, but also about the kind of, we don't have any bank robberies, but the other kind of crimes that we should be concerned about if you're just an everyday resident. Chief.
Yes, bank robberies are extremely rare here in the town of Palm Beach. The way we train our officers how to respond to unforeseen incidents always comes into play one way or another, because unforeseen incidents do happen, such as that bank robbery. When the tellers called out the bank was being robbed, in about 1 minute, we had the bank surrounded, and the perimeter, there was a tight perimeter, and we tried to make contact with the suspect inside. He didn't want to be responsive, so by our watch commander, who was also our SWAT commander, they made a tactical entry, which was an extreme safe manner, and the suspect was taken into custody, and it was met with a positive outcome. So, you know, all that training comes into play one way or another. I also want to let the residents in the community know that Palm Beach is, they are a target for auto burglaries, thefts, and scams. Those type of crimes are crimes of opportunities. So we try to educate the public on, you know, locking your doors, taking any valuables out of your car, because what's seen, they'll try to go in and get it. Here in the town, we initiated anti-crime teams that work all hours of the days and night. They've been extremely successful. These are not randomly done. These auto thefts are done by organized groups, mostly from Broward County. They're done by juveniles, and we already dismantled several organizations, and we talked to some of these juveniles, and we gathered intel. And these organizations, they choose juveniles to break into your car and steal your car, because it's a less of a penalty for a juvenile if they get caught. Once they become the age of 18 on, they move up in the organization. One of the things I would want you to know, one of the things they look for are little things. One is if they look for certain cars, high-end cars, where if you lock the doors, your side mirrors fold in. they go around scouting cars with those mirrors faced out because they know right then and there that car has keys on the inside of that car, and that car is unlocked. That's an opportunity. Within a couple of seconds, they're in your car, the car is started, and they're out. So we constantly urge the community, please lock your car doors. We put out alerts. We try to educate more. If we work together with the community, and we try to, we can kill all these opportunities for these thieves. Scams are another big thing on the island. If one person calls up, say 200 people, and they get 5 people to fall for it, it's a day's pay for them. So what we do as a police department, we try to educate the public we have scam alert training. We put out town alerts regarding the scams, and anybody unusual in the neighborhood. In fact, the police department pretty soon is going to be coming out with a See Something, Say Something campaign. And I would like you to look for that because it's your cooperation with the police department and the police department's cooperation with the community will help us suppress all these crimes.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Donato shared with all of us through Wendy Rutledge, my reporter colleague, his personal battle with COVID, and it wasn't easy. And first of all, we're going to ask him how he's feeling. He looks good. And then talk about the important new technology that the fire rescue has to keep us safe. Chief.
So thanks so much for asking. I'm doing well. I believe I've made a full recovery. I understand that's not the case for everybody, that some people who come down with COVID, they do have long-lasting effects. Personally, I believe I've made a full recovery, but it took a long time. I got sick in the beginning of September, and it was at least a month and a half before I had my energy levels back. I spent a little time in the hospital. I think I shared this before. I thought I was doing everything right. I wear a mask all the time, wash my hands, maintain social distance. We had a weekend when my niece, who we're very close with, who's in college, wanted to spend that weekend with us. We were going out of town. I asked my wife, I said, before she comes, please take her out to the Fit Team ballpark and have her tested. I just want to know that she's safe to spend the weekend with us. So we did. We had her tested. Test results, it was the rapid test, came back, and they were negative. So we thought, okay, it's safe. And that was a bad assumption on my part. I've later found that the rapid test isn't always so accurate, giving you a negative. May not be an accurate test. If it says you're positive, but about 30% of the people it says are negative may not be negative. So, I look back on that, and I think I didn't make a very good choice. I think I probably should have been a little more careful about having folks at our house or spending time with us. I feel very fortunate that my family did okay. They didn't get sick from it. They didn't end up in the same place I did. And I feel fortunate that I was healthy enough to do well from it. I can tell you that I was very sick, and that gives me great concern for others. And I have a lot of empathy now for those folks who are going through this and what they have to endure, especially people with breathing problems, because I was having a great difficult time breathing. So that message, I think, is clearly, listen, you need to try your best to protect yourself. Do everything you can to protect yourself and your family. You do not want to go through that. We're excited, though, at Fire Rescue about some new things that are coming. Division Chief Baker is working almost full-time now on setting us up to be able to vaccinate this community. We've got agreements in place at the state, working on agreements with the county, setting up our training, getting all of our supplies in. We do believe that we'll be able to obtain the vaccine when it becomes available. It'll be delivered in phases because of limited supply. So first will be the first responders, so police and fire, hospitals. Next will be the nursing home community, or people that are severely medically ill, and we hope to be able to play a part in that in our community. And then finally the general public, and they'll be prioritized based on risk factors. And again, we think that given the average age in our community, we'll be able to get enough vaccine to get the most important folks vaccinated as quick as we can. we're excited about that opportunity. We're also excited about some new technology that we're in the process of implementing now. We've just tested it for the first time this week, and it really just blew me away at how great it is. It's technology that takes all this information that's available about buildings and the building's contents and information from our fire protection inspections, and it puts it in a graphical interface. And when we get a call to any building, that could be a residence or it could be a commercial building, the crews that are responding instantly have this at their fingertips. They have aerial photography that they can do 360-degree views of buildings with diagrams and things that show where important features of those buildings are, as well as access to information about the contents of the building. And then optionally, and this is what excites me most, the Community Connect component of this technology, where people in town are going to be able to put their own information in. And this is a secure system. It's using the same encryption that all the banks are using. It's optional for folks. We'd like to encourage people to participate, though. You can put your information in that's important to you, that we might need to know about your home, whether you have pets or not, contact information so we can get in touch with people in an emergency, as well as other things. And that is going to be instantly available in the hands of the first responders before they even get to your home. So we're real excited about that, and hopefully expanding that with some efforts that are going on at the Civic Association regarding kind of the file of life stuff. We're hopefully to marry those things in the future and just really be able to do a better job of handling the emergencies that occur in this town and taking care of people in a better way.
Town has been working remotely for months now, and it's worked very well. However, we're in a town hall now that's very different from the one we're all used to. So I want to talk to Maggie about indoors versus outdoors eating, which is something that we're all confronting now, and even possibly more poignant and important, the positivity rate, which is something that's tracked every day. Maggie, start with the indoor-outdoor thing, and then talk us through the other issue.
Okay, indoor, outdoor at restaurants. Obviously, the CDC and every doctor you speak to is going to encourage you, if you're going to go out to dinner, to try to eat outdoors. You're going to have masks off when you eat, and you have cocktails, and so try to do that. I mean, it's very clear that there's a lower infection rate if you're outside than inside. We know that from scientific studies and studies where people have gotten together indoors. It has a lot to do with air exchanges. It has a lot to do with different things in the air, how the air flows in a restaurant or anywhere else. This is not just for restaurants. Indoors is not a low-risk endeavor. Outdoors is less risky, and indoors is more risky. So I think we just need to think about that. You need to think about what your own set of medical conditions are, and then match that to what you're going to do and not do. There are temptations all over the island because, look, this is a great place to live, and the restaurants are open. But try to choose wisely. I think what Chief Donato has talked to us about the vaccines, and our fire rescue is really ramping up for that, and they're going to be in charge of that. We are 2/3 of the way through this. I want you to realize that 2/3 of the way through this. You have another maybe 3 to 6 months to go. And we'll be vaccinated, and that will give us herd immunity if people take the vaccine. So don't let up now. And remember, we're in the middle of the surge. As far as the positivity rate is concerned, what that means is you're looking at the number of positive tests, and it's done on a daily basis, and getting a percentage. And so it's in a percentile. It should be below 5%. Below 5% means that it can be managed through contact tracing within the community. It can be managed in the hospitals, that there's enough medical staff, enough equipment. But when you get up into 8%, 10%, 15%, 17%, you lose the ability to control the virus. And so it's very important to keep it below 5%, and we're no longer there. So I want you to realize we're not there any longer. We were. The town's done a great job. You've all done a great job. Got a little bit longer to go. Try to keep it up.
This is one of the safest towns in America. We all know it, but you got to be quick on your feet when you're in the police business. The other day, we had dozens of young people on bicycles, literally, I'm going to use the word, flipping off the police and going the wrong direction on roads. It was really kind of a traffic crisis here over on a weekend. We've got potential, hopefully not going to happen, but disruptions with the transition of the presidency, and the president will probably be down here. And we've got COVID, and we've got offloading trucks with fancy cars, and all the people coming down. We're glad they're coming, but this becomes a crowded place. It's a different town here in November or December than it is in September. So I was going to ask Chief, long-winded here, but can there be too much of a confluence of people, or can we be too overcrowded, and does that affect the potential crime rate? And how do you guys handle that?
As a police department, we don't want the community to feel threatened in any way. As we all know, the population in Palm Beach County, and even in West Palm, is increasing by the numbers. With that, here on the island, we take on more unforeseen incidents. I just want the community to know that our police officers are well prepared to handle anything and any unforeseen incidents. We have many specialized units, as well as our patrol officers on patrol. They're trained on a monthly basis for these unforeseen incidents. And by that training, they also know how to improvise when certain incidents take on a life of their own. So I just want the community to know that their police force, Palm Beach Police Department, is well prepared for anything that can ever happen onto this island.
It's pretty interesting. Independent measures and studies are done on the effectiveness of vital departments, police and fire rescue. Fire rescue did really well recently, right?
Like once every 4 to 5 years, the Insurance Services Organization, or what we call the ISO, that's a group that evaluates fire protection effectiveness across the nation and gives every fire department a grade. And that grade is used by insurance companies to set your insurance rates. So Palm Beach Fire Rescue was recently audited by the ISO. And we're very proud to say that we are a Class 1 department, an ISO Class 1 department. It's a pretty prestigious designation. There's about 30,000 fire departments in the United States that are evaluated. And of that 30,000, only 385 of them have achieved Class 1 status, and Palm Beach Fire Rescue is one of them. It's a true testament to the great work that is done by the great firefighters that we have working for us. Truly the credit goes to them. They do their best to get out and get to every call really quickly. That's an important measure. The effectiveness on those calls, how well they do, is evaluated by the ISO. They look at every single fire call that we go on, and they say, how well did you do on that call? They look at our dispatch system, how well we handle the dispatch component of answering calls and getting that information out to crews. They look at the water supply in the town, how often we test and maintain our fire hydrant systems, our fire inspections. All these things are really vitally important into combining into that service delivery. And again, we're excited to be able to say that we are the best of the best in the nation. We're excited to be able to deliver the best of class service to the town of Palm Beach and its residents. And we're excited to have the best firefighters in the nation working right here in this department.
Now the question you just really don't want to ask, but you absolutely must. What if things go really south here? What if suddenly there are many, many cases in Palm Beach? It's a possibility. Does the town have to go along with what the state mandates the town has to do? Well, not necessarily. Maggie, talk to us a little bit about that and give us some final thoughts.
Well, that's a zinger of a question, Tim. I may wind up in jail answering it. All right, here's something I think we all have to keep in mind, and it is that governments need to tell the truth. Don't manage the truth. The people can handle the truth if you give them the truth. If you tell them what it is and what it's going to be and how it's going to be, they can handle it. You don't ever want to disrupt the public trust. So I think that's number one. Number two, in answer to your question, one of your questions, if things go really south here, Would things be closed again? Well, I think you have to have everything on the table all the time. And you make decisions that are commensurate with what's happening here in the town. Like, for example, last year, the Civic Association, was led by the Civic Association and the Breakers, decided not to have any events where people gathered. That was a brilliant decision. It was absolutely what needed to happen. And you saved lives. You absolutely, I'm convinced of this. You can't prove the negative, but you saved lives. So you look at where you are, you look at the positivity rate, which we talked about a little while ago, and you see how much transmission there is. If we go really south, like really south, the way New York went south in March and April, the way Boston went south, the way North Dakota is going south, Texas is going south now, you have no choice. You have no choice but to do what you need to do. And look, I understand. There's a lot of pressure on governors to keep things open. I get that. But when things get really bad, this governor's done it before, Governor DeSantis, and I feel confident that he will take appropriate action. If he doesn't take appropriate action, well, then it leaves it to the local governments to intervene in ways that they can to mitigate what's going on. So, I think that's really the answer to it. And I'll see you in my striped outfit.
Thank you, Maggie. None of us were around during World War II, obviously, when U-boats were sinking shipping off the coast of Florida. But since then, very likely there's never been anything as nerve-wracking for Palm Beach or the state of Florida or the country than COVID. So I hope this has been helpful to at least give you some assurance that the people in charge here have your safety and your well-being at heart. And we will update you all the time on palmbeachcivic.org and Palm Beach TV. We hope you've gotten something out of the program, and we will talk to you soon. I'm Tim Malloy.